A respected and very well liked representante by his rank and file, Sam DeCavalcante knew the life well, having been taught the ropes and groomed by his uncle and father before him. But what happened when the FBI planted a little bug in his office in the 1960s? Let's find out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mob Fireside Chat. At Mob Fireside Chat, we bring to life select stories from the pages of our Button Guys of the New York Mafia website, a virtual library of rare, in-depth bios and stories on the most notorious mafiosi and racketeers to have ever lived and operated. But more importantly, and our specialty, are the stories we share on the hundreds of Cosa Nostra soldiers and associate members you've never heard about, who kept the mafia machine going for all their brigadas in the U.S. and beyond. So go check out Button Guys today at www.thenewyorkmafia.com to get a real look behind the curtain of organized crime. And be sure to leave a comment to let us know your thoughts on today's episode, like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode of Mob Fireside Chat. Today, we're going to share a story about Sam DeCavalcante, the boss of the New Jersey mafia family of the same name, who learned that freedom of information came at a very steep price. Enjoy. Simone Rizzo DeCavalcante, also known as Sam the Plumber, the Count, Mustache Sam, and Simone Russo, was born in 1912 and reared in northern New Jersey. By the 1950s, he and his family were residing in Trenton, New Jersey. He later lived for decades in a nicely appointed home with his wife and children in the Bucolic-Princeton section. By his mid-60s, he would relocate to South Florida, where he bought a beautiful condo in Miami. He would reside there for the rest of his days. DeCavalcante was the son of an early alcohol bootlegger and capo di decina of the family by the name of Francesco Frank DeCavalcante. He also had an uncle by the name of Nicola Nicky Del Delmore. Nicky Del had earlier led the Brigada for years. Sam's activities included policy, bookmaking, shylocking, labor union rackets, extortion, dice and card games, bribery and official corruption, and strong arm. He listed his legitimate employment as a partner in a plumbing contracting firm. This is how he got the nickname Sam the Plumber, but he was also known as the Count. DeCavalcante claimed to associates that his blood family had come from royalty back in Italy, and that's how he also became known as the Count. His police arrest record includes forgery, tax evasion, conspiracy, extortion, gambling conspiracy, and lottery. Sam would be tapped by his uncle Nicky Del to take over the family after Del decided to retire and his subsequent death in 1964. It was a smooth, bloodless transition of power, somewhat unique to Cosa Nostra. This brigada had always been a quiet and little-known entity almost unto themselves. With a formal inducted membership, which at its peak is believed to never have exceeded 20 to 25 members, the family membership hardly made a ripple in the underworld. But with DeCavalcante's ascension to the helm of leadership, that would change. With the support of both Carlo Gambino and the Genovese family, Sam the Plumber would soon expand the membership to upwards of 40 to 45 formal members and many more associates. He also encouraged them to be more aggressive in their activities, enabling them to expand to the point that the DeCavalcante family became a recognized force not only in northern New Jersey, but also within the New York City metropolitan area as well. The Brigada even maintained a solid crew for decades in the Connecticut region, specifically based in the Waterbury area, and they were active in Bridgeport as well. And although a small family, it had some very capable key associates that Sam trusted, including his cousin Robert Bobby Basili Occhipinti, his longtime underboss Frank Maggiore, and captains Luciano Fat Lou Larasso and Frank Big Frankie Cacciaro. These men would help him oversee the extensive family holdings in several states. A respected and very well-liked representante by his rank and file, Sam knew the life well, having been taught the ropes and groomed by his uncle and father before him. He maintained close friendships with many of the top mafiosi of the era, including Carlo Gambino, Genovese powers Angelo Gyp DiCarlo and Anthony Little Pussy Russo, and Joseph Bayonne Joe Ziccarelli of the Bonanno crew. The Brigada's headquarters was situated in the town of Elizabeth, and the family's main power base had always been Local 394, Hod Carriers Laborers Union of North America. They also boasted several other affiliated labor unions, such as Local 526, via his control of mob associate and union organizer Samuel Cavano, and an asbestos union local they controlled. These labor unions in varied industries gave Sam and his henchmen pivotal control and dominion over major construction projects and other business entities over the years that allowed them to reap millions of dollars in extortion payments and the selling of labor peace, which wasn't cheap. As though their union domination was not extensive enough already, several family soldiers exerted influence in a New York City carpet workers union and a Brooklyn local of the International Longshoremen's Union. They also were deeply entrenched in the recording industry, holding a hidden interest in Mecca Records and several other music record labels. The DeCavalcante family was also involved in the private carding industry in Marlboro in upstate New York and several toxic waste firms. In addition, they also held hidden ownership in varied construction-related companies that complemented their laborers' unions' interests. Sam's business acumen applied to street rackets as well. He supported his soldiers and their followers to expand their gambling operations and the lending of money, which collectively would grow to become a major income for the rank and file. Those operations and various other sideline rackets, such as cigarette smuggling, pornography, truck hijacking, and cargo thefts, made for happy soldiers and associates. He also allowed them to dabble in the narcotics trade, specifically cocaine and marijuana, which they gained easy access to because of several key soldiers and affiliates having migrated down to South Florida to live and operate. But all of this upward movement and expansion did not go unnoticed. Soon, federal authorities became very much aware of and interested in Sam the Plumber. It was at a time in history shortly after informer Joe Valachi had spilled the beans in 1963 on the secret brotherhood. He testified before a congressional committee and the world about a nefarious entity known as the Mafia, and only a few years after the infamous underworld barbecue at Appalachian in 1957, where 62 of the country's most notorious mafiosi were apprehended. In 1965, the FBI would surreptitiously install a hidden microphone in Sam's plumbing company office. For the next year or so, the Phoebes would listen to every single word spoken between Sam, his partner and secretary Harriet, who by the way happened to be his mistress, and a gaggle of mafiosi, corrupt policemen, local politicians, and businessmen who looked to curry favor with Sam. He was exposed as the mafia boss of his own family. Mob murders and other mayhem had been discussed, so had police bribery, the Gallo Profaci War and its fallout, the impending Bonanno family war, and Joe Bonanno's expulsion from the Brotherhood, and most importantly, the Commission. It was a disaster. Later, it compounded tenfold inadvertently by Sam's lawyers, who, while fighting a criminal case for him, demanded all evidence the government had, so-called discovery material, which the defense was entitled to. The government complied, but not as the lawyers thought they would. Freedom of information would come at a very steep price. Upon its release, it became public domain, and soon every major newspaper in the country got a copy. They had a field day with it. It became front-page news. Entire transcripts of tapes of the secret recordings were printed for the public to read. It was a public relations disaster. Sam DeCavalcante was doomed. In December 1969, he and 54 of his mob associates had been federally indicted for the operation of a huge $20 million a year numbers lottery network. They would all be convicted after trial. Sam received a 5-year prison term. Under the old law, after serving 2 years, he was eligible for parole, being released back home. But wisely, he immediately chose to relocate down to Florida, hoping to avoid any further law enforcement spotlight and scrutiny by New Jersey or federal authorities. DeCavalcante simultaneously elevated his acting underboss up to the acting boss position, allowing John the Eagle Riggi Sr. a wider berth in the day-to-day operations of the Brigada. But Sam still retained his high status, receiving 10% of all monies generated by his family members. He would live very comfortably in semi-retirement in the coming decades, occasionally traveling back up to New Jersey to visit blood family and check on how his other family was doing, collecting his tithe in the process. Sam Rizzo, Sam the Plumber DeCavalcante, died in 1997 at the very comfortable old age of 85 years old. Having only served one short prison term in his long underworld career, Button Guy's dare says that Sam the Count, by our account and that of many, lived a charmed life as a top mafioso. And that's the end of our brief bio on Sam DeCavalcante. We hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this story, then head on over to thenewyorkmafia.com, where you can read many more stories about the men who worked under Sam the Plumber, as well as many other stories about little-known mafiosi who kept their respective brigadas running. And don't forget to comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode of Mob Fireside Chat. Thank you for watching. Until next time.